time you this talk about work issues. I said I need the
Yeah.
time. I stayed late to help out one of my employees. I said, well, I need the time, and he didn't have vacation time to cover a day he was gone completely. And so when I got done talking to him about it, he goes, so is this a warning? I go, no, this is a pep talk, dude. Because I was like, I think you're doing good work, and you did this. You're doing everything. I want to support you. I'm on your side on the deal. He's like, is this a warning? I go, no, it's a pep talk.
Well, that just tells you your tone needs work. He thought he was
Exactly.
getting
That's
it.
what I thought.
He thought he was
No,
getting his butt chewed.
I know. I was like, what? No, dude. Yeah. So anyway, I'm late today. We're late today because I had to work an extra hour at work today. I had to lock up the building. I have the misfortune of having keys. If you ever work somewhere and they offer you a key, never take it because it either means you're going to come in early or stay late. But I get roped into a lot of stuff because I'm too dumb to say no. I was telling my wife, and I talked about this last week about how the owner of the company wants us to get into making these mascot figurines. And he was saying today, he was in my department going, I need somebody to spearhead this thing. And I'm thinking, I ain't volunteering for anything. I ain't getting paid more money for. I mean, I'm already doing way more than I'm paid for. And then as I'm driving home, I'm thinking about it. And I thought, well, wait a minute. He's going to have, if somebody else volunteers, they're going to be in my department telling my people what to do.
Yeah.
So like, I might as well just, I mean, if it fails, I'm going to get blamed anyway. So I might as well just bite the bullet and do it. And at least I don't have anyone else telling me what to do. I don't know. If I catch him tomorrow, I'm going to talk to him about it. But he's not one of these guys. Michelle was like, well, ask him if you could do this or tell him that this is the, I'm like, he does not like that. What he wants is he wants you to go, yes, and do it. He doesn't want to answer a bunch of questions or give you a bunch of instructions. He just wants people to take care of stuff. You know, he in a way he reminds me a lot of how my grandfather was. He was an old Navy guy, and his saying was, "When I tell you to jump, I want you to ask how high." I don't know if that was my grandfather's era or just my grandfather, but that's how my grandfather was. Anyway, I wanted to record tonight, or I wanted to record tonight because I wanted to show. So my wife and I went to Dallas Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We drove back on Wednesday, and it was a work trip for my wife. My wife is an electrical engineer, and there was a lighting convention, and she was getting continuing education credit for going to this and attending different classes. I went along so I could go shopping, and so I was going to show some of the stuff I bought to Ellis because I think he'd be interested in talking about some of this. But before we even left, Sunday I was watching my digital copy. Oh, this is broken. Dang it! Look at that. That
Hmm.
sucks. Anyway, I was watching my digital copy of Alphaville, and it made me wonder if it was possible to buy the Criterion movie. It's on Canopy, so you can watch it pretty easily if you live in the metro area. But I was like, I'd kind of like to have a copy of it, and I have a digital copy, but it's on my computer. I have to connect to it. Anyway, I was like, I'd like to, and I looked, and they apparently like a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, released a restored. This is a 4K restoration, and supposedly it looks
Wow.
beautiful. This is, from what I've read, this is better than there's a Criterion edition of it that has no extras. It was an early Criterion movie. Anyway, and so I posted this, and asked if I'd seen it or if I liked it or something like that.
Well, yeah,
And
I was under the impression that maybe you had asked a couple of people to, or got the library's copy, or held off on seeing it, or something. But
no,
you have seen it.
yes, multiple times.
Very cool. I did not know, but that's all been. How recently has your multiple viewing started? Would you say it's in the past couple of years, or what? Have
Yeah.
you?
Um,
Okay.
saw it. Okay, I saw part of it on I think it was on TCM when they were having like a new wave weekend or something. I saw part of
Mm-hmm.
it, and I thought it was really weird. And so I asked a friend of ours, I don't want to say his name, who
Uh,
said I can get you a file copy of it. And so I've watched the file copy a couple times, and then, well, I recently watched it on Canopy, and then I watched my file. I watched it on Canopy, and then I watched my file. I've seen it a couple times, and then like over the past weekend, I've watched it like 1.5 times. I saw part of it, and I got to a certain point, and then it was late, so I stopped watching it. I watched it the next day, and I started at the beginning. Um,
I'm gonna
one
have to watch it. I'm gonna have to watch it again. It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah.
So I had a little downtime. One day at the when we were in Dallas on Tuesday, I went to the underground tunnels in Dallas. I'll talk about that in a second. But I came back, and so I was watching on YouTube in the hotel room. I was a little bit early and I got hot, so I took a shower. I was kind of hanging out in the room and drawn, and I looked on YouTube for commentary about Alphaville or anything about it, and I was watching, and it gave me some background I thought was kind of interesting. I didn't realize it was like a low budget movie, which should have been obvious. Just based
Yeah, well, that's what's so great about it. He is, if you're trying to make a low budget movie, look at all the ingenuity that went into Alphaville.
oh my gosh, we could have made this movie, Ellis. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, really.
and yeah, I mean,
But at the same time, it's got these little moments like where he pulls out his little camera and uses the flash to almost kind of like intimidate people or say, "I'm here
yeah,
and I'm in your face," and taking out his little flash unit all the time.
yeah.
And it's just something you could have bought for $5, but it's a cool little character moment. He's always pulling that little camera out.
I like the movie. I think I finally am starting to understand it. It's a little obtuse, I think, to get into. Now,
Uh,
it's French, and all the copies that I have access to so far are subtitled. However, I have read, it's not labeled on here, but I have read on here that in a review of this DVD, there's Blu-ray, that there is an English dialogue track on here.
huh.
Now, it's not labeled, so if it's not there, it's not that big a deal. But there is a commentary, and apparently there was no commentary on the out of print and kind of expensive Criterion edition.
Huh.
So I'm looking forward to watching that. I may watch part of it tonight because I want to see how good it looks. Even though my file copy is pretty, I mean, black and white, generally, even a bad copy generally looks pretty good,
Yeah, I like Eddie Constantine. I think he's the kind of guy that knows exactly what he's good at, and it's fixing a. Well, he's pretty good when he breaks into a big smile too. But he's the guy in Snatch and no, it's the Long Good Friday. I think he's in that. Pretty sure he is.
I'm not sure, but I like the movie. The sets are kind of interesting. It's very interesting,
Uh-huh.
and kind of a dystopian kind of thing that I kind of dig. And they do a good. I think it does a good job of not answering more questions than it needs to. It doesn't
Yes,
spoon
it
everything.
keeps you wanting to know stuff that they're never really going to supply. But
Yeah,
you always kind of like those kind of movies. It's like you fill it in yourself. That makes
yeah,
you into an artist. You're the
yeah.
writer.
Anyway, I got that, so I wanted to talk about that. I got a couple things that you'll be interested in, Ellis. So this is the first thing I bought and the most expensive. We went to a Asian bookstore, Japanese bookstore, Books Kunikonia. There's one in Carrollton, Texas, and I bought this. This is the 2007 sketchbook from Kim Jung-gi.
Kim Jong-gi.
Look how thick that monster is. This was the display
Man.
copy. It was $70. They gave me 10% off since it was the display copy. but it doesn't have. It's an early one, so it doesn't have some of its typical flourishes of these big scenes. But I have an older one. I have a 2013 that has a lot of stuff. It's got a
Oh,
lot that he's
it's got
drawn.
some cool looking stuff in it, I tell you.
This is a phenomenal book. Again, $70. I like it. I have it. The 2013 is a big copy. It's a full size book. This is kind of a nice little brick. I was on the fence on getting it. My wife, we were in a hurry. My wife said, "Just we're gonna be late. Just buy it." And so I listened to your wife, and I bought it. Oh, and I got me a couple. I got some stickers. Anyway, so I got that. Now that's cool, but I'm gonna show you probably the buy of the trip. Um, the Frazetta Sketchbook Volume 2.
Let's have a look at this.
This sucker's out of print, man. Copies online go for over $100, and I paid $25 cover for it.
Wow.
Shop.
Oh yeah, that's nice looking. Oh, it's got a lot of his life drawing in it, huh? That's interesting.
Yeah. Now this is Volume 2. I happen to have volume. I had Volume 1, or I still have Volume 1, but I never got Volume 2. But it's a lot of preliminary work for his stuff.
You know, I have been watching a lot of Jeff Watts.
Oh yeah.
However you pronounce it, Atelier. I can't pronounce it. But anyway, his channel. Go ahead. Did you pronounce it? I didn't pull it off.
I don't know. I've heard him pronounce it a few times.
Yeah. You know, it ought to stick eventually. But he, you know, almost daily, he's cracking his Frazetta out and copying it. You want to talk about a way to stay on top of your own skills? Is like,
look at that.
Always be channeling something like that. You know, always crack it out and do some copying. And if you want to know how to get good, it's that, you know, just find some great art.
Look at that.
Oh yeah. You want to know what to put in, what to leave out on a attractive female. Copy some Frazetta.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's great stuff. And there it is. It's just pure. Yeah, I remember that strip of.
Oh yeah, this is a comic strip, isn't it? Oh, yeah,
it was a comic strip. It's interesting. Him working on that grid paper.
Yeah, that grid would drive me crazy.
Yeah. I'm not sure what good he got out of that.
Well,
there again,
it's on EC Creations. So this was the paper they supplied to other people. I've heard that they would put the lettering. That's why they did the lettering. At the
top. That's the reason, huh? So that the lettering came first, I think. Usually,
yeah, lettering came first, man. Look at that girl. That's awesome looking.
Yeah. Yeah, I say that, and that's what I'll do right now. I'll get my own Frazetta. I'll crack it open, and I'll spend the rest of the evening copying some Frazetta. Well, I've got enough of it on the computer. I can just bring it up and be looking at it.
Oh yeah, hang on just a second. I'll pull out Volume 1.
I copied that cover. Okay, I'm holding on. I copied that cover of that Frazetta.
So this is the Volume 1.
Oh yeah.
God, just nice stuff. Look at that girl's face.
My favorite Frazetta book is the rough stuff, where it actually has all his little preliminaries and thumbnails.
You know,
not all of them. Well, it's got some of them, it looks like.
God, look at that cave woman.
Yeah, cool. This is, all that great time he put in on.
This is something from his sketchbook. You can see the perforated, or the. I don't know if this is actual size. That's maybe bigger than actual size. The dinosaur.
Oh yeah, Yeah, some of that's in rough stuff. Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah.
his poster work is just amazing.
Oh yeah. I've got the balance
Frazetta is
board
a
that.
guy that comes up with a hard and fast rule for himself and just sticks with it and says, I'll let someone else claim I'm a Johnny One Note because I've got it figured out. Just like Stanley Kubrick was into 1 point perspective. He just had your
Yep.
eye, you know, always traveling down basically almost a tunnel to center in what he wants you to look at.
Yep. So I don't know. You probably didn't see my pictures. I'll show you some of my pictures of the trip. So I went. Let's see. Is that good? Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's probably not the best.
Here, I'll solo layout you. Let me do that real
Okay.
quick.
Sideways. So there you go. It's a little bit bigger. So I went downtown. So Tuesday I went downtown and downtown Dallas has a series of tunnels under it, similar to Oklahoma City, but a little bit different. Now, where I went in was in the Bank of America lobby, and I went down. There was kind of this water feature underground, and then there was kind of a food court. And somebody commented there were no people in my pictures. There weren't that many people in the tunnels,
Wow.
but there were a few people. You got a lot of neon. I saw this
That's
door,
cool.
like an abandoned store or something. I thought the door was awesome looking. And then
Huh.
various places you go out. So this went out to the street. And then I like this sign, kind of a real retro looking sign. And there were a lot of restaurants there. Now I found a thing called Thanksgiving Park. I first saw this. I took a picture of this. And then I was down in the tunnel, and I like that kind of that terrazzo with the thing there. And it is actually a different tunnel, but it is more. And then I found this big room that had these yellow brick in it. It was kind of strange looking, kind of looking the other way. And then I went out, and this is called Thanksgiving Court, and it's kind of just a park there in the middle of Dallas. And it has, I didn't get a picture of it, I guess, this big spiral tower. And when you go inside, it looks like this. It's got these stained
Huh.
glass lights going all the way up. And there's stairs, but it was closed off. But it had chairs. They're like kind of these benches you could sit on in a circle around the middle, around it. And when you walked in, there was a thing where you could write what you were thankful for and hang it on a hook,
Huh.
going in, kind of a bulletin board thing. Almost look like, I mean, if you wanted to film some kind of cult thing, this would be a great place. It has kind of a weird look to it. And then I saw this. This is another thing. I was walking around Dallas, another kind of park, and I found this thing called Fountain Plaza or something, with all these fountains in it. I think this may be, yep, that's it on that post. But it was fun hanging out in Dallas. One day I went downtown, and then one day I went to Half Price Books, an art supply place, and a comic shop. And I went by a mall. There was a mall that was kind of interesting. But anyway,
Well, cool.
anyway, that's what I did on my time off. And then I went to work today and paid for it. Well, I had like 77 email when I came in today, which wasn't too bad. It could have been worse, but anyway. So I did talk to, when I was down in Dallas, I went to 2 comic shops, and I talked to the managers about carrying my comic, and I'm supposed to send them emails with examples of, or kind of what it's about, kind of, so we'll see. I told them that I'd be willing to come down and maybe do, if I could get it to work, we could talk about maybe me coming down and doing a signing or something.
What,
We'll
at
see. I don't know.
at a Dallas store?
Yeah, there were a couple stores in the Dallas area I talked to. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of. I'm at this. It's funny. I'm kind of blasé about the whole thing. It's just like
I'll be glad when
but
you get it out there because obviously it's a crowd. It hasn't stopped being a crowded bookshelf since radioactive hamsters.
yeah.
Back after everybody realized that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was something maybe I could do. And it's
Yeah.
the bookshelf has stayed crowded ever since that day. And so it
Oh
takes
yeah.
a
Well,
bit of doing to get anybody to say, okay, yeah, I need to have that without, like you say, the personal touch of going to a con and having somebody walk up to your table and then selling them on it.
yeah.
Because
Giving them the pitch.
you know what, that seems like a lot of hard work for something that. But and then of course social media.
Well,
You're on social media. You've got a lot of outlets for you know
well,
getting it promoted.
that's kind of the thing. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, well, and I think we're. Uh, I don't know. I mean, it seems like comics don't sell near what they used to, and you just look at it and you're just like, oh god, is it even worth dealing with?
I'm at a point where I'm like, no, I don't think I'm into crowdfund comics anymore. I don't know. I don't. That
Well, you know,
betrays about half these relationships I made on Twitter and YouTube. But you just get tired of it all. Because if you aren't that big a comic book collector anyway, if you aren't having your titles set aside for you by your favorite dealer every week, you probably aren't really a comic book fan.
well, what's funny is like I went into the comic shop today by my work, and I was talking to the guy, and we were talking about how he's had he's had his back issues where he was talking about people that come in that aren't regular customers.
Oh,
And the wife
his back issues. I was about to start talking about my experiences with causing my back to hurt. Okay, go ahead.
Oh
Sorry.
no, not those back issues. His comic book back issues,
Yeah, go ahead.
but he said people come in. He'll see people that never seen before, and they'll come in, and what's happened is they'll be, oh, this character is going to be in a Marvel movie or in a Marvel TV series or cameo,
Uh-huh.
and so all these people are looking for that first appearance. And these speculators, they'll come in, like he said, a guy came in and wanted to buy all of his copies of some particular book because some character is the first appearance, and he said, but they don't buy comics.
Oh,
They're buying the flip.
yeah,
I
they've
have a
got some
book.
sort of collector's kind of.
Well, they're not
Yeah.
really collecting though because they just want to flip them on eBay,
Hmm.
and
Oh, okay.
like if they were collecting, that'd be one thing. Or if they're regular customers and like, oh, I missed this book and it's out of print or whatever, it'd be one thing. Or just oh, I want to fill out my run of Avengers or something. But he said, it's frustrating because they don't ever. They're not fans, and it's not like these people are buying back issues, but they're not buying anything to read it, and he was talking about that being frustrating, and
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know, the comic frustrates me.
yeah. You would hope people would think enough of them to read a comic because there is a lot of work put into them.
Well, yeah,
But
that's the thing. It's like, come on, man.
yeah, read my comic.
Well, then I look at it and I go, golly, I don't know. I mean, I'm doing, I got my thing I'm doing, which I'm kind of enjoying, but then I'm looking at it and going, well, I think I need to experiment with the art a little bit. I've got all that big, nice tracing papers. Like maybe I got these pencils. Maybe what I should do is experiment while I ink them, and try and find a different. I don't know. I don't know. I feel
What'd you do? Spill something?
lost. Do what?
What happened?
I'm sorry. Do what? What?
Did you spill something?
Oh,
What
did it
happened?
blank out? It may.
No. I wondered what happened
Oh.
to you.
Oh,
I heard
did I
something.
drop off?
No, I don't know. You were talking about.
Oh, that was my doorbell chime.
Oh, okay.
There's somebody at my or something. There's a motion on my front door. I don't know.
Oh.
It's probably a cat. It's probably your cats.
Those
It
cats.
better not be one of my cats.
You don't have a cat.
No, Michelle's allergic to cats. If she wasn't, we feed neighborhood cat. When there's neighborhood strays, we'll feed them. I mean, us, we're animal people. Anyway, but yeah, my dog stayed with my mom while we were out of town, and since she's been back, she's kind of been moping around. I don't know what her deal is.
Oh, what? Did you take it over to another house?
Yeah, my mom watched the dog while we were out of town.
Boy, I'm copying Frazetta here, but it's like I'm not paying close enough attention to it or something. It's not coming through. Oh, it's coming through a little bit. It's fun to
really?
look at something that's basically what he would do with a ballpoint pen just off the top of his head, and then you try to duplicate the looseness of it, and you tighten up as you're doing it. And of course, you're not getting anything like what he got.
Oh no. Well, there's only one Frank Frazetta.
Oh, that's
I don't
true.
care what some of these people try and copy him say. And there are people that are good that have a style that emulates Frazetta, but it's really, I don't know. It's just them trying to, I don't know. I feel like a lot of artists have to copy somebody. I think everybody
has to copy. Yeah, everybody has to copy.
If you're going to be an artist.
No, I I should have had a few more materials that I've been doing lately. I just recently knocked in a quick, just for an experiment. It took me about 15 minutes to do it. I used some pit pens, they're different, and I researched why they are different than, like a Sharpie or whatever. They're using actual India ink in a pit pen. And that's the reason when you use them on a masonite board or whatever, the oils will go over it and stay over it. If you use a Sharpie on an oil or for your drawing underneath an oil painting, yes, it will come up through its surfaces. And so you just can't do it.
No, that's not good.
And but these pits, you just can draw like you're used to drawing and then go to town with oil. And that's kind of cool. And so what I did was I took a copy of, I've got this Mort Drucker book called Familiar Faces, which has a lot of his little fun caricatures in it. And just the cover, I took a John Wayne caricature and quickly whipped out, a copy of it. I got off on the proportions a little bit, but still, there was still a kind of a likeness to it. And I just started painting on it. And it was really a cool experience because you realize at the same time you're copying Drucker, while at the same time you're getting a cool portrait direction for yourself. That it may lead me places thinking about, because I'd rather do that. I'd rather have a cartoony kind of style with my oils, you know, like a Glenn Barr, if anybody knows who that is. He's kind of, he's classed in the low brow.
Is he somebody you know?
No, I don't know him.
Glenn Barr.
No, spelled with 2 N's and 2 R's.
The young Ellis book.
Oh, that was Marty Davis. Marty Davis.
Okay, that's what I was thinking you were talking about.
Marty is a great one for channeling. I would say probably that guy is able to pull off. Oh, who does he most remind me of? But he's got that old EC kind of command of line art just down. He's really good with a brush pen and all that. Just really good.
I like what I've seen of his stuff.
Yeah. Haven't been in touch with him in a long time. I think he wrote me some sort of note. Yeah, it's all my fault in terms of like staying in touch with anybody. Yeah, no, it is. It is. I know it.
You're, I don't know. Are you antisocial? Yes.
It's just, yeah. It takes me places when I get in touch with old people that bring back this or that, and they want to talk about this or that. I run through all the failures of the conversation in my head before we have the conversation. So that's why it never happens. I think that's called something. I forget what it is, where you anticipate everything that can go wrong, so you never take the chance on you don't initiate. But
Oh yeah. Well,
call being a dope. There you go. Look at my tiger. Oh, you can't. I'm thinking everybody can see my work next to my drawing, just like I can. But no, I'd have to share a screen. I can do that, I guess. How to research that?
Sure.
Share a screen.
So what'd you do today, Ellis?
You know what I just got done doing? I went downtown. And
oh, did you?
Yeah, there's this one house that was going to be shown. I saw it on Zillow, and they were going to have an open house. And I dig those. I dig these open houses. Well, I got downtown, and then they gave me a flyer, and there was about 10 of them I could check out. So I went around and looked at all these cool mansions over there in the Heritage Hills area. And man, it was so much fun to walk around in these really nice mansions and see these cool.
Oh yeah,
it was a lot of fun, and have people talking to me like I could actually buy them. So, nobody questioned me. Well, what are you doing here if you can't afford to buy it? Nobody does that to you. They just let you walk around their house. Yeah, that's right. They have to treat you like a buyer.
They've all heard the story about the crazy old man who's rich but looks like he's a bum.
Yep.
Yeah,
could be you. That's right. Could be me. My sweatshirt, my sweaty ball cap.
Yeah.
But it was a cool little outing. I dug it. Because you know,
So
I like
we've been,
architecture and
we've talked.
what.
Oh yeah, I wanted to be an architect when I was a kid. I would
And I also,
if I had time machine, I'd go.
if you had time,
If I had
what?
time machine, I'd go back and tell myself. If I
Oh
had
yeah,
time machine, I'd go back and tell myself not to to stick with architecture.
yeah. Architecture,
Even though,
design, anything that makes you, you know, have a talent that someone's just got to have, and if you're good at it, if you get really good at anything, including this stupid stuff of drawing comics, you get really good at comics, you're gonna just never look up. You'll be busy all the time. Someone's gonna want what you can do and would be willing to pay for it. You'll find the market will pay for you if you're you know, you reach a certain level.
yeah, but I think the market for architects is probably better than the market for an average architect. Probably does better than a pretty good comic artist, with rare exceptions. You know.
Well, the deal is if you get good enough as a comic book artist to be a high in demand comic book artist, you've got a portfolio that swings open a multitude of kind of doors, you know, concept art and all this stuff.
Not
You
drunk.
can do a lot of things. I mean, if you can do comics, you can do anything. Well, except with the exception of
Yeah.
maybe you might have a hard time becoming a, you know, top-notch animator. You might not have the patience for it, which is weird to say, isn't it? Because if you got the patience to be a comic book artist, you ought to have the patience to do anything.
No, yeah, I don't know, man. Animation is its
Yeah.
thing. The no, I forgot what I was going to say.
Drew a blank. Hey, I got his eyes wrong. That's
Yeah.
the deal with Frazetta. Frazetta's expression on his big cats was always just nobody else, you know, dialed it in quite the way he did on, you know, how the nose wrinkles and all that kind of stuff. He just always had it really dialed in.
Oh yeah.
And I watched the whole. I paid for them. I think it was $6 or $7 per season for Hannibal, and but the first one was 4, and I got 3 seasons worth and watched all of them by now. I started about a week and a half or so ago, and now I've seen all 39 segments, and it was a pretty good experience. It's like all these series, you know, they're going to have their uneven moments, and you're going to say, "Ah, this."
Oh, that reminds.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that reminds me of what I was going to tell you.
What?
I've been watching. Watched a couple episodes. There is a Jeeves British series.
Huh?
Have you seen that? I know you've seen the Blandings one, or I think you have. I pointed it out to you. There's a Jeeves
Oh,
series.
I've seen all the Blanding ones. You know what? I may have those.
Oh, you have?
I think
The Jeeves.
Yeah.
It's got Hugh Laurie as
Yes.
Whoosh, and okay. I've been watching those.
Are they fun?
I think I things more maybe. I watched part of a Blandings BBC movie called Heavy Weather.
I like how
and the tone was a lot different.
Yeah, I like how the Jeeves begins, which is perfect. He's got a severe hangover, and he whips him up his miracle concoction that cures hangovers, and that's perfect for how to introduce their relationship, because that is their relationship. He has to take care of basically the fact that this guy is And and it's so funny because PG Woodhouse puts all of this between the lines, but Jeeves is a guy that is a rich man without having to worry about any of the trappings of being rich because he is, you know, this rich, carefree guy's, he's his man, so he gets to live
Yeah.
life. He's got plenty of spare time.
Yeah.
He's quite a
And
gambler himself and all that.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Jeeves has sabotaged several directions that, several things that, what's, I can't think of his name. What's the other guy's name?
Whoosh.
Yeah, Bernie
Oh, it's criminal.
Wooster. And,
Yeah.
he'll have an idea about something he's going to do that will change Jeeves and his situation, and Jeeves, will sabotage it basically. He won't allow him to go off on some sort of notion of his own.
Yep. Anyway.
Frazetta Werewolf. This will be good copy. Oh yeah. This spoils you so bad when you think about you pick up a copy of Creepy, and it's got this werewolf story in it, and you think more like this will be coming, and this was kind of a one-off of all time. It was never going to get this good again.
Well, that's typical with a cover artist.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about the cover art. I'm talking about this interior here. I'll see if I can save this screen. I never did figure out how to save a screen. I forgot.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I never got around to it.
That's what I'm saying. The cover, like, oh, this is going to be great. You open up, like, not so much.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was standard. So do you guys just like to talk to each other like two people watching? Yeah, I guess that's Xander's rants. Yeah, that's how we do it. Like two people watching. Yeah, that's our typical. No, the only way that this would ever work as a money-making YouTube affair would be, later on, if I had the crowd, that they would check on it later. Yeah, I mean, you get money for.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, whatever. He threw me off. I'm trying to think two things at once. That never works. There it is. Share.
So we had
share screen.
So, please, Xander, we just talk to each other like, yes, we do. Well, Ellis and I are friends, but we don't really live that close to each other, so we don't get to talk very often. And so we do this. Typically, I'm working on something a little more than just me doodling in my sketchbook, but we're late today. So, but yeah, people actually watch. But we're late, so probably the regulars gave up on us already.
Yeah. And I had the idea that I was going to make a list of topics because I always say, I could just be talking nonstop about this or that, but I don't have them listed.
Well, you missed. What? I think you missed it earlier, Xander, where I was talking about what I bought in Dallas on my trip to Dallas. You missed all my purchases, which may or may not interest you, but Yep, we just talk like two regular people. This is not really a show, I guess.
No.
I don't know. Normally, if I'm drawing if I'm working on a comic book, but I'm kind of stalled today. I worked a long day, so I'm not drawing comics. I'm just doodling in my sketchbook.
Yeah,
But
I've got a.
anyway, thanks for stopping by. I'm assuming I don't recognize your name, so anyway, if you're still here, thanks for watching.
There we go. There we go. There's what I'm copying right
just
now.
Us.
That's what I'm talking about in terms of like.
Oh, okay. I'm watching it all.
Classic, and of course, you know, I don't know if they told Frazetta what he could do or couldn't do, but he just right away just goes right in with washes and does little subtle tones. Nobody else was doing that. They were all doing just traditional, your usual ink it, fill it in with Zipatone or whatever.
Creepy, which is if it's one of the Jim Warren books, he probably just said make some art,
Yep.
you know. And I don't think Jim Warren is well known for, as long as it was good, you know, would sell. I don't think he cared, you know.
Yeah, the numbers on.
I mean, I don't think
anything with a Frazetta on it, with the numbers on it. I'm not even sure. You know, 839. You know, Xander's comment was like 15 minutes ago, and I didn't notice it.
Wow.
So basically, what he did was he checked in, checked out, probably trying to decipher why anybody would blunder into this and stay there.
People actually watch it. Yeah, people. You know, I mean, if you want, we're more utilizing the technology for our own enjoyment. If someone watches, and I think there are a few people that watch, and you know, whatever. We're not a you know, is in the circus. Well,
I'm really into the small world aspect of podcasts and all that. I'm able to look at people. Well, you know, and the idea, and you know, you get ideas of like doing something that people will like. It's like anything. The artist can only hope to go the bestseller route in terms of making real money. He's got to find something that gives him, a big reaction.
Dave and I, I'm not too worried about making money. We just kind of hang out and talk, and if people watch it, our numbers have been getting pretty good on our podcast. But you know, if people watch it or listen to it, or in this case, watch this, that's great. I mean, you know, I appreciate the people that watch it, but you know, am I gonna like? I mean, I'm more interested in talking to you and talking to you about whatever interest you and I are thinking about than necessarily talking about whatever's going on in the world or in video games or whatever. Because you know, I'm not a I don't know.
Hipster.
Dying to become a YouTuber. I'm not dying to become a YouTuber. I'm more, the only person I care about being entertained is myself, and then secondarily you. You know, just enough so you stay on. But you know, so everybody like it, whatever. You know.
Yeah.
If they don't, I welcome them to Rich's channel. Not that I don't appreciate them, but you know.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna double up on studying my Frazetta hands. He's probably the. Oh yeah, this is fun to copy this.
Yeah. Well, hey, dude, I kind of need to go.
Yeah, it's late.
9
It's
o'clock.
late. We started late, and I don't think our energy level was up. It'll be better if nobody does see this. Okay. Okay. We'll end broadcast on that note. Do the spawn hands, Ellis. Natasha International shows up just as we're wrapping it up. Thanks, Natasha, for showing up. Okay, Scott, you want to say anything? I'm ready to press the button.
Thank you for watching. I've been getting a lot of traction on my YouTube channel, which is Scott Sackett, and I've I've been getting a lot of comments on some of my videos, and some people are kind of taking issue with me. A guy, and I haven't answered yet, and I appreciate him watching and taking the time to comment, because most people don't comment. But he said no, How to Draw Comics to Marvel is not the best book for someone to learn how to draw comics. And then he says, "It was a Marvel editor told me that I should read this other book," and then he talked about anatomy books, which,
well, just a straightforward anatomy book he thought was a substitute for How to Draw the Marvel Way. Nah, right. No. Well, Bridgman is the guy that, and I think in the context, I think somewhere in the content of How to Draw the Marvel Way, they probably mentioned Bridgman.
Yeah, I think there are. Yes, it does mention Bridgman.
Okay.
But
well, Scott,
anyway,
we'll end it there. Thanks, everybody.
Okay,
bye.
We signing off?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.